Welcome to the Estimology demonstration. Today I will take you on an exciting journey into the world of Estimology. This is the home page of Estimology. Of the menu options that you see on the screen, select the login button and click on it. You are shown the login screen where you enter your login credentials. You notice that a CAPTCHA has been provided to ensure that you are not a robot. Once you get the green tick mark, enter login. Congratulations, you have successfully cleared all the security checks. You are now greeted by the Estimology welcome screen and are ready for takeoff. Tighten your seat belts and enjoy the Estimology journey. Click on the blue button that you see to start estimating using Estimology. You now see the dashboard. This is one of the unique features of Estimology and gives an overview or an executive summary of various projects being estimated in your company. The dashboard consists of three windows. The first one that you see here is My Projects, which gives a list of projects created by me in Estimology. The second window shows Projects Shared with Me, which gives a list of projects created by my team members and shared with me for my comments and review. And the third window that you see here are the comments given by me for projects reviewed by me. Remember, Estimology is a collaborative software and the dashboard is the key to this feature. Before you start estimating, it is good to have a look at the company level default parameters which have been set up by the Estimology system administrator. The company level settings are available under the domain settings option. Select the domain settings and click on it, and a set of 8 parameters defined under this category are visible. We will look at each of them one by one. To begin, let us click on Technology Factors and a screen which shows 39 predefined technologies commonly used in the IT industry being shown. The productivity factors are defined based on our experience in the IT industry. The system administrator can, however, change any of these and add more technologies to suit the company's standards. Moving on, we look at resource types. These are basically the type of resources that you would be deploying in the creation and execution of the project. The system administrator must create these in the preliminary setup of Estimology. Estimology provides 3 levels of resources which can be defined. The descriptions of these can be defined by the system administrator at the preliminary setup stage. The various currencies that you would be using in the project estimation can be defined in this screen. The finance parameters option, you can define the cost to the company and the bidding value, that is the CTC marked up for bidding, for each type of resource and level of resource. Select the currency. In this case we will select the Indian rupees, and a set of the CTC values and the bid values for every type of resource and level are shown on the screen. The system administrator must input all the values in this particular screen to suit the company standards. Next come 2 tightly coupled parameters which depend on the type of software solution that you are planning to estimate. Estimology provides predefined templates for commonly required software solutions like software development, web development, ERP implementation, CRM implementation, data analytics, and so on. The system administrator can create more templates to suit your company's requirements. Let us select the software development option in the templates shown to me. This opens up the activities template for software development. As you can see on the screen, there are 8 activities which have been defined under this template for the activities, and the percentage contribution that each of these activities would make towards the total efforts is what is shown here. These values are again based on our experience in the IT industry. So in this case, as you can see, the low level design and development will contribute 40% towards the estimation of efforts, followed by testing 20%, and so on. You have to at all points in time ensure that the total adds up to 100. Next, let us view the work unit parameters template for software development. So you click on this and select the software development solution, and the screen opens up which shows the work unit templates for software development. As you can see on the screen, there are 6 work units which constitute the template for software development. On the right hand side you will see 3 columns which say simple, medium and complex. These are the categories of complexity that you require for the development of a work unit. Simple work unit category is assigned by default a value of 1, and the medium and complex work unit categories are then weighted vis-a-vis this simple category. For example, if you look at screens design, it has values 1, 1.25 and 1.5. What this means is to create a medium category work unit, it would take 1.25 times the time it would take to create a simple work unit category. And similarly, for a complex work unit category, it would take 1.5 times the time that would take to complete a simple work unit category. As before, you can add more work units or delete some of them or change the values of the weightages. Now that we have seen the default settings which are going to be used behind the scenes, we are ready to start estimating efforts and resources for a project. Before you start estimating, you must either create a new project or select a previously created project. Let us see how we can create a new project. Click on Set Create menu option. You get a list of projects available to you for selection. We click on Add New and a screen opens up which gives me 2 choices. As you can see from this screen, you can create a new project by selecting from an existing set of templates that we have already defined, or I could select from a project which gives me a list of projects available to me, so that all the data that have been used earlier is available to me for my current project. This helps you to extend the previous learnings to the new project. For the demo, however, we shall use a previously created project. Click on the dashboard. Familiar dashboard opens up. Now for this demo, I will select goods receipt module which is in previously created project for my current demonstration. Once I click that, the title bar now shows that I have now selected the goods receipt module as the project for my working. Before you can start the detailed estimation, it is good to review the standard parameters that we saw earlier and modify them if required for our current project. Let us begin by selecting the activities parameter under the project settings. So I click on project settings and then click on activities. As you can see that the goods receipt module is a software development project, and hence the template selected for this particular project is software development. And what you see on the screen are 5 activities which have been defined for this particular project activities. The percentage contributions of each of these activities, as you see before, are visible and they all add up to 100. You can, as before, change any of these, add or delete them as per your requirements. Next, we select the work unit parameters and you get on the screen a list of 7 work units which have been defined for this particular project. The weightages that we have defined in the project in the domain settings earlier are visible here, and you now correlate a particular technology for each of the work units. Once the technology is selected, the corresponding efforts based on the productivity factors of that particular technology are calculated behind the scene and visible in the read-only boxes out here. Now let us say now the .NET. Let us look at screens work unit. The technology that has been selected is shown as .NET, and the corresponding days for each of the categories of work unit is 2, 2.5 and 2.6 respectively. Now let us change .NET to say HTML5. So I want to start developing screens in HTML5, and you can see immediately that based on the productivity factor defined for the HTML5 technology and the weightages which are given in this left hand side, the corresponding days are calculated as 0.5, 0.63 and 0.65. What it means is that we using HTML5 technology for developing screens, it would take me 0.5 days to develop one work unit. For a medium category, it would take 0.63 days, and for a complex category, it would take 0.65. Now let me change it back to .NET. And it changes back to 2, 2.5 and 2.6. So as you can see, the productivity factor plays a role in defining the actual corresponding days that it would take to develop one work unit. Once you have assigned technologies to all work units, you are ready to move to the next stage. We now select influencing factors. Here you define those factors which indirectly add to the effort days by way of delays like customer approvals, UAT and other non-technical activities like training, deployment, etc. Estimology gives you an option to define these factors and assign percentages to each of them. In the demo of goods receipt module, you can see we have defined 3 parameters like meetings and coordination, deployment, implementation and training, and UAT delay. And we have apportioned 5%, 10% and 10% for each of those, adding up to a total of 25%. This gets added to the total efforts estimated. Estimology also provides the facility to define direct costs which may be associated with the project. You click on direct costs and it opens up a window where you are given an option to enter the description and the notes for why the particular direct cost is applicable and the amount. This completes the review of the project settings for goods receipt modules. We now move on to define the project details. As you can see, the first item that is to be defined is the functional units. For the goods receipt module project, there are 6 functional units defined. Let us click on one of them. Let's say click on goods receipt note preparation, and you see that the work units previously defined by me open up, and I am now free to enter the actual number of units of each category that would apply to this particular work unit. Now in this particular demo, you can see that I have defined 4 simple screen units, 1 business logic unit and 2 database interactions unit. The assumptions that I have used in defining these numbers can be entered here. For example, I have mentioned this is based on 4 screens with 2-level verification. This is very useful for the reviewer to understand the basis on which you have put in these numbers. The reviewer can then give his comments in the comment section, which can be responded by the project owner and or other stakeholders. This is one of the critical features of estimology, which results in accurate estimation and very little surprises during execution. Great! You have now completed a major portion of your estimation, and we are ready to have a quick look at the effort estimation report. Let us view the effort estimation reports by clicking on Estimation Analytics. There are 2 flavors of reports available, functional unit wise and activity wise. Let us click on the functional unit wise estimation effort report. You are shown a list of available projects with the currently selected project being ticked as default. Click on View and a new window opens up which gives me a report, functional unit wise estimation of efforts. As you can see, all the units, functional units which I have defined, 6 in numbers, are effort estimated for each of these, totaling up to 76 days, of which the highest component goes to quality checks and then reports and then good receipt preparation. Let us close this window and come back to my landing page. Now let us look at the activity wise efforts estimation. Again, I am shown a visible list of projects available to me with the goods receipt module being clicked as default. Click on View and I get this time the same 76 days, but activity wise how much each activity would contribute to the effort. As you can see here, the low level design and development would take almost 38.49 days out of the 76, 19 days for testing and so on. Close this window and you are back to the landing page. As you have seen, by inputting very few parameters, you are quickly able to generate effort estimation for the project that you have selected, in this case the goods receipt model. Estimology provides you a feature of stitching together multiple projects and looking at what the total efforts would come to. With this feature, you can basically handle very large projects by breaking the large project into small modules and then individually estimating them and then merging them together and consolidating them into a single report. Let us see how we do this. We already have goods receipt module. Now let us select a sample website. We select demo software and we select analytical and view that. And you can now see that the functional unit wise now gives me a consolidation of each project. For example, the sample website needs 193 days, my demo software of 62 days, and the familiar goods receipt module 76 days, which we've seen before, and 120 days for churn analysis, totaling up to 451. So by this, I'm able to consolidate a large project into considering smaller projects and then adding a at the report stage. We shall now see how Estimology can be extended to allocate resources to the various activities and plan the project execution, keeping the deliverable deadlines in mind. Let us first see how you can define milestones for a project. Click on the project details and select milestones. What you see on the screen is for goods receipt module project, we have defined two milestones called Sprint 1 and Sprint 2. As you can see, Sprint 1 has been defined from the 2nd of October up to the 6th of October, and Sprint 2 has been defined from 9th of October to 18th of October. So if I click on the Sprint 1, I can see that there are two functional units associated with the first milestone, the goods receipt preparation and the quality checks. And there are unallocated functional units available. So if I click on them, I can see that there is a new functional unit 6 which is still unallocated. I have got the option to move particular functional unit to another milestone or unallocate it completely. Now if I click on Sprint 2, I can see that there are three functional units already allocated and the fourth one unallocated is the new functional unit. Now I can look at variances and move it from the second to the first milestone, and you can see that the variances have now moved to the first sprint. There are provisions to relocate, as you see, to move and to unallocate. Now that you have created milestones and allocated functional units of the project to all milestones, you are now ready to allocate resources to each activities defined earlier for the project. Click on the resources option in the menu list and you will see on the screen the activities that we have previously defined for the goods receipt module project are shown on the screen. On the right hand side here, you see two values, one in bracket and one outside. The values in the bracket are the Estimology efforts estimation, and the ones to the left are the values of days allocated by you manually through the Estimology software. Now in the requirements case, as you can see, the estimated value is 7.61 days, and we have allocated 8 days through Sprint 1, that is the milestone 1 we have 5 days allocated, and in milestone 2 we have 3 days allocated. So if I click on the Sprint 1, you can see that I have one mid-level business analyst allocated from the 2nd of October to 6th of October, resulting in 5 man days. And similarly for Sprint 2, I have three mid-level analysts allocated for one specific day, that is 9th October, resulting in 3 man days. So thus you see that we have got 5 and 3 days allocated for requirements as against an estimate of 7.61. Similarly, we should allocate resources for each of the activities as are shown here. Once you have finished allocating resources to all activities, you click on close. Congratulations, you have now completed the second round of estimation inputs. You are now ready to view the resource estimation. Click on Estimation Analytics and select the resource costing option. As before, you are shown a list of available projects for you with the current selected project being tick marked. Click on View, and on a new window as before, you get a list of resources with for each level and the man days and the CTC and the build value. This report is sorted in the descending order of CTC, As you can see, this shows an allocation of 80 man days and a CTC of 440,500 and a bill value would be 612,000. You can also see below a pie chart has been generated which gives an indication of the extent of distribution of the type of resources being used for the project. And there's a warning which flashes here which says that actual resources have been over allocated by 5.1% over the estimated requirements. Now this will happen invariably because my mandate calculations are in decimals, 7.61 as we saw, and we allocated 8 and so on. So this is something, as long as it is within minor levels, it's nothing to worry. But if it is significantly higher or lower, then we need to go back and check our allocations. Close this window and you go back to the landing page. Now we can use the same technique as we did for effort estimation to combine multiple sub-projects into one large project and view the result. So as we had done before, let us select multiple projects. Let's select sample website, demo software and churn analysis and click view. And here you can see the projects which we have selected are listed out above in the title, and all the resources and their levels are shown with the man days and the CTC against each resource type and level. So you can see this has added up for all the resources put together for the 4 projects that we have selected, resulting a total of 275 man days with a CTC of 2,106,500 and a billing value of 2.717 million. And similarly we get a pie chart for the same. Close this window and you go back to the landing page. Close it and we have completed the first level of the resource reporting. Similarly, you can now look at resource calendars that you select October, because this project was done in October 2017, and I can get a list of resource type and their level date wise in a calendar form with holidays and weekly holidays being shown in the same calendar. Close this window and on the menu now click on the resource chart option. Select the month for which the project was operative, October 2017. Go and I get a chart, a bar chart, which gives me the peaks and the dips of where my resources are being utilized for different levels. As you can see from this chart, on the 4th of October there is a peak which occurs, and somewhere down on the 14th, 15th and 18th there is a dip. So this is very useful in visually representing and understanding where are my resources being used and what dates they would be high and low. Close this window and back to the main menu. This completes our resource allocation and analytics. Couple of more unique features of Estimology remain to be shown. Click on Set Baselines. This option allows you to save a snapshot of the estimation at a particular point of time, say at the end of a pre-sales estimation or start of project estimation or milestone estimation. By saving data at various baselines, you can compare how the project estimation progressed over a period of time. In the demo example of goods receipt module, we can now see that there are 3 baselines created: the first estimate, second estimate and the third baseline. And the dates in which these estimates were baselined is shown here. This first baseline was created on 14th December, the second on 27th Jan and the third on the 24th of March. You can add a 4th baseline by clicking on this Add New Baseline, and you would be able to take a snapshot at the current level of estimation. How do we use the baseline that we have created to monitor and understand how the estimation progress has moved on? To achieve that, we will click on the baselines variance, and there you will see there are 3 flavors of baseline variances available: the functional wise, unit wise, the activity wise and the resource wise. Let's click on the functional unit wise, and you will see that you can compare the 2 baselines in one report. So for the first baseline I select the current open estimate, and for the second one I click on the third baseline and I click view. the report is now shown in the new window, where I can see that my original current estimate which we had seen was 34 and 76 days, and the third baseline was 27.5 and 62.33, which means that there is a variance in effort of 18%. That means my effort has now gone up by 18% over the previous baseline. Close this window, and similarly for resources. I compare the current open estimate with the baseline estimate, and I can see that my man days estimated 440,000. Earlier it was 388. So this has gone up by 11.92%. So this is how we are able to track and find out how our estimation and or the project understanding was gradually converging towards the actual over a period of time. So this helps us in better understanding how our estimation has progressed for a particular project. Another important feature of Estimology is the facility provided to the user to define actual deployment of resources, their types and levels, number of resources and days allocated. You can enter the actual man days deployed for each type of resource allocated. To do this, click on Resource Deployment and then input actual. On the screen, what you see on the left hand side in read only boxes are the resource type, levels, and the man days and CTC and build values estimated in the current estimate. And in the right hand side, the boxes here, the input boxes, I can input the actual man days that have been deployed so far. How do I now use this to understand how the variance occurs? I close this window and I go to the variance report, and I can select the baseline to compare. So I take the current baseline and I view it. And as you can see, my current open estimate is again 80 days, 390,000, and here I have 398,500. So over a period of time, this has increased by 2%. So what I have allocated versus what I have actually deployed, there is an increase in 2% in the CTC. So some new resources have been added, like for example, software architect was estimated as 0, but I have now actually deployed 2 people. Similarly, a graphic designer were not estimated earlier, but now I have got 2 man days allocated for that. So here I can add new resources during the actual deployment conditions, and I can let these, for example, automation tester junior level was estimated but not used. So if you look at the entire thing, my actual estimate is 80 days, but my actual allocation is 78, but my cost is higher because probably I've assigned a much higher valued resource instead of the earlier one. We have now come to the end of our demonstration of Estimology. I am sure that you find Estimology to be a very user-friendly, intuitive, collaborative, transparent, and conducive to peer reviews, comments, and inputs from past experience. This helps in creating accurate, reliable, and quick estimation of projects. I hope that you have enjoyed your journey of Estimology and look forward to you making Estimology your first choice of software for software estimation. Thank you for your time and see you soon.